All right, thank you very much. Seeing at 7 o'clock, we'll begin the Tuesday, February 1st Board of Water Commission meeting. The first agenda item is water abatement applications.
So I sent earlier 3 lien abatement letters to you for approval. The first one I have is for 6 Union Street. This is one of the churches, and I think it was last year they had a meter installed, and unfortunately it was going backwards. And it was at the tail end before the bills were leaned, so I didn't flag it to not lien it. And then realized after it was going backwards. So they were charged consumption for a meter that's going backwards. And Munis sometimes, if you don't catch it right away, it will charge you. So it charged them $4,708 for a meter that was installed backwards. So what I'm looking to do is just remove that charge because the meter was inaccurately charging them consumption.
So what was it reading?
So originally the first read was 810 gallons of water, and then the read came back 997,791.
Oh,
so it was going,
okay.
Yeah, it was going backwards. And so Munis will automatically think they use 900,000 gallons and charge them at the rate. Instead of a meter run over, after 10 million gallons, it's supposed to run over, but because it's going backwards, it assumed it was reading that much.
Did we install the meter or someone else?
I think this was during when East National was still with us. I think it was one of their tail end, like the end of the project.
They were supposed to test every single meter, 5 gallons.
We still caught a small handful that were going backwards, and they installed them.
Huh.
This should have been caught during a bill run. We do pull a list of high consumption report. It should have been caught there, but it wasn't caught there as well. This one slipped through the crack.
Okay, so this hasn't been paid by the church, I'm guessing?
Correct. So currently they still have $4,000 charge on their real estate bill for lien.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any issue with this one. Seems like it was a pretty straightforward issue.
I'll make the motion. Make a motion to abate the property at 6 Union Street in the amount of $4,708.76.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call, Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Commissioner Najelski.
Yes.
Commissioner Popolarczyk, yes. All right, thank you for that.
The next one I have is for 501 Southampton Road. So this property is the Martin's Flooring Complex. So there's quite a couple buildings on that one parcel. So currently we have 4 accounts because there's 4 meters on that property. And 2 of the accounts are being charged for the stormwater fee, when 1 account should only be charged for the stormwater fee because 1 person's responsible for the entire parcel. So 1 account was paying the stormwater fees and the other one was not. And then that charge got liened. So I'm looking to remove the charge that was liened, and I have double checked that charge has been paid on the other account. They were being double charged.
Do we know how the double charging started? Because they've obviously been there for a long time.
They have, I think when we redid the rates for the stormwater, it was a clerical error. We added the second charge, not realizing that another account already had the charge existing.
Gotcha. Ron or John, any questions on this one?
Yeah, so Hannah, just to be clear, everything, this has been corrected moving forward. We shouldn't see this kind of error again in the future.
Yep, I inactivated the other charge that should not be, the second charge has been activated, so it won't happen again.
Okay. So the total lien to be released is what's presented in the letter addressed to the assessors?
Yep, the 806. Yep.
Sorry?
$836. It's for the 501 Southampton Road.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at, okay. I got the right one now. Same question though, and I'm sure it's the same with each of these.
Yes, yep.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion on this one. I'll make a motion to abate the lien related to the 501 Southampton Road property in the amount of $836.
Right here, second.
Second,
Roll call, Commissioner Cole,
yes.
Commissioner Nagelski,
Yes.
Commissioner Papalarczyk, yes. All right, thank you for that one. And the final,
The last one is for 3436 West School Street. So this one, I had billed them 2 different bills. From my end, from a clerical end, it looked like there was a large leak, so it was water consumed. We sent out some technicians. They said there wasn't any leak that they could see, but a second bill came through and it was another high bill, so we assumed that there was still a leak somewhere within the property. I think this was a foreclosure.
Yes.
It was up for auction, so the house was purchased, so they, sent a plumber and they couldn't find anything. It was one of our old Neptune meters. So what we ended up doing was sending it out to get tested. And the meter, huh?
I thought it was a census meter. It was
It was a census?
It was a foreclosure on, then the guy bought it,
Yep.
then put the
The
census in, and the census was false.
So the census, it wasn't an Neptune, it was a census. We took that out, we sent it out for testing, it came back faulty. So the consumption that was being charged was inaccurate. They should not have been charged that high consumption. But because I didn't have any proof that there was no other reason than it was an actual leak, it was leaned towards the property.
okay, so I'm sorry, so was there anyone there at the time?
Yes.
Okay, so there was
And the
water
census
running through the
was, yeah.
meter, just wasn't that much water.
Exactly.
Got it, okay.
So in a case like, I mean, this one's pretty substantial. Is there, I guess, how do we correct for that? We just take the hit that we had a faulty meter and they're not charged anything for the time period under question?
The bill still has all of the base fees. They're still responsible for the sewer, the meter fee, the stormwater fee, all the other base charges are staying on there. It was the water consumption that's being reduced.
Right. So in a case like that, that's what we would do, is to just charge the base fee. And since we don't have an accurate measurement of the actual usage, we can't really charge them anything.
Yeah, the quarters before and the quarters after were very, very minimum water usage. Because they think we're doing work inside the property, so.
Okay. Oh, I'm satisfied with that.
Hannah, was that your handwritten? No?
Although the math,
Well, whatever's on the blue line paper.
yes,
Oh,
that was,
right.
yep, that was mine.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you wrote on here, base charge only. Okay,
Yep,
got it. All right, so that's what the abated amount is, the total, basically the total that was accumulated less the base charge.
correct. They still owe over $1,000 on the lien for the base charges and a third bill that was lien that they're responsible for.
Wow.
And that lien would remain until they clear it.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. So there's teeth in this.
Right.
Yeah, just not $20,000 of teeth, just around $1,000 of teeth.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Wow.
I could stand there with interest forever. We'll make money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not real, so.
Exactly, right.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion. So I'll make a motion to abate the lien associated with 34 to 36 West School Street in the amount of $19,021.90.
Second.
Great. Roll call, Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Nagelski,
Yes.
Commissioner Papalarczyk, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And for the explanations and the math there, Hannah. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Moving on to our next item, approval of January 4th, 2021 minutes.
I read through them, Joe. I made no note of any need for change.
Yeah, likewise here, Joe. I read through them also. I didn't notice any discrepancies.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Do I hear a motion?
Sure. Make a motion to approve minutes as, as documented for the meeting January 4, 2022.
2021.
Or
Sorry.
2020.
Oh, 2022.
Oh, you're right. 2022, Ron. Good.
Happy New Year, Joe.
You're a month.
Look at that. Me just reading the paper.
No, I'm not. I know
I
when.
said, me just reading the paper. You had it. All right. Do I hear a second to my?
I second that.
All right. Roll call. Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Commissioner Jelski.
Yes.
Commissioner Popolorzik, yes. Good catch, Ron.
Oh,
All right. Next agenda item, department project updates.
So we're in operation as usual. 7 and 8 are running normally. Well 2 is still on standby. Wells 3 and 4, we completed the carbon changeout, and for the half of the vessels that we did at this time, they are up and running. 5 and 6 are not needed at this time. Reservoir Road is operating normally, and the reservoir is full. We're not moving forward with any tank repairs at this time because it's the middle of winter. But Proven Tank is stable, and we do have a letter in our possession that says that we're able to fill it to normal levels based on the repairs that they were able to complete this fall. Dry Bridge is the contracts are actually out for signature right now with the 2 contractors. So our SRF funding is squared away, and they're my understanding is they're ready to get going as soon as they can get materials. Although from what I understand, there are some delays anticipated industry-wide with obtaining materials. So we'll see how quickly our contractors can get their materials and get moving on the construction. I know they're eager to get going too, so.
We were told today 50 weeks for a small generator. And I don't know what the definition of small is, but you've got a generator for a treatment plant. So I imagine that's very large.
it's a year for a truck or a pallet jack or a trailer, or you name the piece of equipment, Joe. It's a freaking year out at this point. It's ridiculous.
Crazy. Yeah.
So we'll work with what we can get when we can get it. So.
Yeah, Heather, how does that impact the awards? I mean, are the contractors still required to meet whatever bid amounts are? And I'm sure there's a time frame associated with each of the projects. So.
Yeah. Until we know a little bit more about how significant the impacts are expected to be, I don't anticipate that we can really project that. There are contract time limits. If it's something that is out of the contractor's control, I imagine that they'll come to us with a request for an extension, and I imagine that the commission would consider, the worldwide delay on materials when
Oh, sure.
considering whether to approve it. So,
I've had a handful of those, John, personally on projects, and the contractor's just been asking for time. They haven't asked for any additional costs associated with the delays in procuring equipment. It's just been time.
Sure.
So hopefully, hopefully it's the same, but
Yeah,
you know,
I was
who
just trying to get a sense. I would anticipate that, but I was looking to see it. Not having reviewed the actual contract language, but I imagine those are standard terms that are put in these things, and considering the environment we live in now, this is certainly not unanticipated. So everyone's having to manage it somehow.
right. And
Yeah,
if we were to make extensions to the contract as a whole, that doesn't mean that we would extend, for example, the startup period or other things that we have time constraints on. I don't know if the notice to proceed has officially been given yet, or if Tammy may be waiting to issue that. I don't know, but I don't expect that there's a whole lot of choice in the matter, and
Sure.
I know that they're going to be looking to get the work underway when they can as well.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't impact our funding and our approvals. I mean, it's just and there's nothing any of us can do about it. I mean, everyone's going to work as quickly as they can based on the tools in their toolbox. So.
Yep. And if we needed to apply for an extension on the permit from DEP, I don't anticipate that would be a problem either, because everyone is going to be dealing with the same thing.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think you're right about that.
Yeah, one of the projects I reference is an SRF funded project, and they get it. People at DEP. So it's out of contractor's control, out of the city's control.
Mm-hmm.
Just is what it is at this point. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Good questions.
Yep. Any other questions?
None here, Heather. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, thank you very much, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
I did want to mention there was some sort of an error with the printing and sending of a notice to residents. I had mentioned at the last meeting that we sent a notice out because of the disinfection byproducts. That letter inadvertently went out a second time.
Yep,
but it's the exact same letter.
Right, yeah.
Still dated December 23rd. So
Right.
I don't know why it went out a second time. We did not have a second violation. It's the exact same letter. That was an error. I'm not sure how that happened. I don't believe they were directed to send it out from us. So
we just wanted to remind the residents that we had the same. Never mind.
So I've been getting phone calls for the past 2 weeks in greater quantities than I was receiving in response to the first letter. Most folks apparently didn't pay as much attention to the first letter. So the folks that I'm talking to, there was one call that said, hey, I got the letter before and it looks like the same thing. Is this the same thing? And I was able to explain that. But most folks, I think, are just noticing this letter more. And so, I can explain that it was, a running annual average. And, this is not an acute situation. If it was something they needed to respond to immediately, we wouldn't wait to mail something out. We would, be notifying everyone right away, those kinds of things. And it was one site in the city. The other 3 sites were nowhere near that level. We've already flushed from that location. We're continuing to develop measures to make sure that we don't have that kind of exceedance in the future. So that's what people want to know about, and so we're able to give them that information.
Are you still getting calls, Heather, about the duplicate letter?
I did get a phone call today.
Okay.
So,
I don't know if it was worth posting something on the city website, but if they're dwindling, then perhaps it's not.
I don't know that it would be all that effective, because most of the folks have actual questions that they want an answer to, and they're not seeing it as a duplicate letter, they're just seeing it as a letter.
Gotcha.
It would probably make sense why friends and family are busting my stones about, a notification. They always do. It's like they think it's, my fault that,
Right, we're not the only community dealing with this. I've had friends and family ask me about who live in other communities. They get similar notices like this, and a lot of them are for this exact issue. And I imagine sometimes it's challenging, depending on the water usage, to get the residual where you want it in the distribution system. You're trying to anticipate, and it's kind of a balancing act. So.
Yeah, and fall's a particularly tricky time to do that balance, because water usage is diminishing and temperatures are going down, which means you can reduce your chlorine, but you still have those organics that are in there from the summer. So it makes sense that fall is where we might see higher numbers than the rest of the year. But we don't see violations on a yearly basis. This is, certainly something that we want to make sure we don't see again.
Right.
Right, and the city seems to be trying to stay ahead of that with the flushing system and the other things that we discussed last meeting.
Right.
So that's good. All right. Is there anything else?
That's all from me, unless there are questions.
none here.
I don't have any additional questions.
No, I'm good as well.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
All right. If there's nothing else, we want to pick a day for our next meeting here.
March 1st.
March 1st.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
March 1st.
Well, I could, I believe I can make a remote meeting. I cannot make a live meeting.
I'm fine with trying one more remote just to see how things are. And then making a decision after that meeting, if that's convenient, Ron. If it's inconvenient though, just even to attend virtually because you're traveling or anything like that, we can do another day. I have availability late, I have a lot of availability personally. So up to you. It doesn't necessarily have to be the first.
Yeah, same here. I'm pretty flexible in March, so.
I mean, unless there's a lot going on, I think my preference would still be virtual.
Yeah.
For maybe one more, and then we see how it is come April.
I think the governor's extension for the Zoom meetings ends in April anyway, unless he's extended again. But I think April 1st, I'll have to double check with the clerk's office, but the governor's extension does end very soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe we do one more, and then right, if we're forced back in person, we see how things are. But hopefully by then, the numbers just go down. It looks like the numbers are already starting to go down a little bit. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ron, up to you. Whatever's convenient. I'm flexible. John's flexible.
Let me ask this: Could we? Who's got meetings on Wednesday, Hannah? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head. I can check tomorrow when I get to the office.
Could you guys bump a day? Could you go to the 2nd? Or I could push to the following week.
Or should it matter, right? Hannah? Unless they have already booked for the second virtually, it's really I have 2 meetings during the hour. Peter now. Peter, would you know? Who has Wednesday meetings? Do you know? Yeah, I can, like I said, I can check tomorrow for March 2nd to see if there's anything booked now. But if there's not, I can at least book us for it if you want to.
That'd be great. Otherwise, I can push again to the following week. That Tuesday is going to be, it's going to be rough to me. I'm traveling, and I will be traveling. In order to make the meetings I've got, I will be traveling after that.
I can check tomorrow and get back to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, if we could just stick to 7, that would be great. But yeah, that day would work for me, the 2nd.
Okay.
Is 7 o'clock
Yeah.
okay with you guys?
Yeah. 7 o'clock. is fine. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make sure. Thanks.
Hey, Joe, before we adjourn, I think Mark has a question.
Yeah, I see that. I see his hand. Thank you very much.
Yep.
To the chair, no, I don't have anything in the way of updates. I just wanted to afford the commission any questions they may have.
I don't have any personally, Mark. I appreciate it. Ron or John, anything for Mark?
Mark, do you have any projects that are on the 22 horizon that are gonna impact this board directly or indirectly?
The one thing is before City Council currently is a request for certain funds to pave Holyoke Road. That is there's certain drainage work that's going to be included in that, but the paving of the road itself will wait until the water work is done. So we would be looking to when that date can be established. But I think that's about all that I know of. I think that the majority of water work on Western Avenue has been, at least as far as service cross connections, has been achieved, and we're waiting till spring to see how things go with that. And I have not heard on Coles Bridge. They are actively working on the bridge, but and I believe they put in the necessary isolation valves, so I think we should be good to go on Coles Bridge.
All right, very good. I was just curious, Mark, if there was anything that
Yeah, thank you, Ron.
you felt would impact us, but thank you.
Certainly.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that's fine. That sounds like it's a good day. So we'll do the 2nd at 7 o'clock virtually.
All right.
All right, Mark, thank you very much for volunteering
Thank
the
you,
updates there. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Certainly.
All right. If there's nothing else, do I hear a motion to adjourn at 7:29?
Motion to adjourn Board of Water Resource at 7:29 p.m. on February 1st.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, roll call. Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Nojelski,
Yes.
Commissioner Popolarczyk, yes.